What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name's Naomi. Welcome to House of Miscellanea. If you are joining me for the first time, welcome aboard. It should be a fun ride. If you are coming back to see me again, thank you so much for coming back to see me. You have no idea what it means to me. I did not use a clickbait title. I promise you that. I do have some really big news. I am going to save it to the end because I want you to stick around. But there's lots to talk about, so I just want to get right into it. First and foremost, I just kitted up a new piece, Catch Me by Mrs. Butter D for Diamond Art Club. I kitted this up yesterday, you guys. I can't stop duding. I can't. I keep going and going and going and going and going. But it's so cute. I mean, you can see. So that's what we're working on today for my trusty tools that I keep around all the time. I am going to be using a beautiful pen from Black Wolf Woodworks. This one has some lovely cactus with some wheat in it. I'm obsessed, along with a 10 placer, the thin metal multi-placer from Diamond Art Club. We love those. I also have a piece from O'Brien's Custom Turning. I'm going to be using this piece specifically because it has a 6 placer on it, because there is some color blocking in here, but there's also some little confetti type pieces, though I'm usually okay using the 10 placer. But isn't this one lovely? I love it. Love it. And then I also have the tools that I always keep around, my straightening tool, because I'm telling you, you guys, I obsess over the diamonds being straight. And then always keep around a pair of murder tweezers from Diamond Art Club. These suckers are sharp, so make sure that you're keeping the tops on them, because these babies will get you. I keep those around in case I need them. The tray I am using is my trusty tray from Cat Proof Trays. I know. You guys see this one all the time, but if it ain't broke, you know what I mean? I love this tray. Absolutely wonderful. And then I've got my little brick of super sticky patty wax. I am eventually going to run out of this. I did get some. It's hopefully on its way, but this is what I'm using for now. And then my Butterfly Effectwares Winter Dreams ... putty. I love this stuff because it is a drier putty. Just, I love it. So that's what we got for tools. Let's get right into it. Some things that I wanted to talk about today. One, a bit of good news I don't mind sharing that is not the news I have to share at the end of the video. I quit smoking officially. I have not had a cigarette in, it feels like 18 years, you guys, but it's only been since the 31st was when I had my last cigarette, the 31st of March. It is now Tuesday, the 2nd of April, and no cigarettes for me. None. Do I feel great and healthy and all the things? I mean, I don't know. It hasn't really had too much of an effect in that way yet, so only time will tell in that respect. But I am really happy to have finally quit again. This will be another attempt. My kids are trying to remain hopeful because I've had a lot of failures. We don't want to talk about the failures, but I am really happy to be trying again, and proud that hopefully this time it'll work out. Using the patch seemed to be successful the last time that I had tried to quit smoking. So, you know, just got to try anything, right? If it's not working, you got to try something else. But when I have quit in the past and have had some success with, you know, a length of time, it was always with the patch. So we're going for the patch. I things seem to be progressing with regard to the employment opportunity as a teacher's aide. So I'm really, really hoping that that will continue to work out. And I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. If you guys could cross yours for me too, that would be great. I could really just use the getting out of the house, keeping me busy, because every time that I've wanted a cigarette, I've told my family, every time I want a cigarette, I'm going to go up and I'm going to do some diamond painting. It'll keep me busy. It'll keep my mind occupied, keep my hands doing something. And they're like, all right. So I'm like probably, I don't know, I would say not a quarter, close to a quarter maybe of the way done with this. And I just started it yesterday. If that tells you anything about how much I've just really been anxious for a cigarette. But I'm happy. I'm happy to be giving it a good try. You know what I mean? And to really try this time. My kids are like, now if you cheat this time, you got to tell us. Like, all right, I'll be honest. I promise you I will be as transparent as possible. So hopefully I won't need to be transparent as possible because I'll just be able to quit. And then, I was thinking about the benefits around repetitive tasks and keeping your mind busy and things like that as it pertains to just honestly psychological well-being, and then as it refers to addiction. And that's addiction in all forms, right? Because, yes, there's quitting smoking, but there's other things out there to quit that you could use diamond painting to do, right? So wanted to talk a little bit about that. My husband remains obsessed. I'll get into it, but my husband remains obsessed with his succulent garden that he's got going. He is almost as excited and passionate about this succulent garden as I am about diamond painting. So there's that. No judgments. We like what we like. We get excited about what we get excited about, and he just happens to be excited about succulents. I'm like, oh my God, you hit 40, and then what happened? Like you aged drastically. Something has occurred. But he's got our whole front window in our living room is all like a big shelf with different succulents and plants. Now, one of them is a monstera. There's a reason they call them monsteras, because they get to be of monstrous size. And it's huge. It eats up most of the front window. So, he's talking about possibly, splitting a baby off of it and then sticking it in his parents' window before they get home from Florida. I'm sure they will be uber pleased about that. I mean, they like plants, so it should be fine, but we shall see. But yeah, he's got a whole setup in our bedroom with lights and a shelf and everything, because he's propagating some baby succulents and cactuses. And so I worry to see what our power and light bill is going to be, because he's been on this for a minute. But it is what it is. I mean, right now he's paying it, right? So not my problem. But yeah, he's been utterly obsessed. I swear to God, he comes home every day from work and he's like, stop by K&W. That's like our greenhouse in town. Stop by K&W. Stop by Home Depot. Stop by Walmart. He brought home this one succulent in particular that was like the saddest looking succulent I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like it was apparently stuck in a tinted window. It look thirsty, very, very thirsty. And he's like, yeah, I bought it. I'm going to bring it back to life. I'm like, well, I mean, if that makes you happy, whatever floats your dinghy at the end of the day, okie dokie. I'm just worried, like, okay, so we're going to take some vacations, and then who's going to water your plants for you while we're gone? Because, we'll be gone for a week or something. We usually go for a week in July, and I think they'll be all right, though. He tends to only water them once a week, so maybe it'll be all right. We shall see. But yeah, I've been finding ways to keep myself busy from thinking about cigarettes and diamond painting. Diamond painting is an old trusty for me because, when I was in inpatient rehab and recovering from substance use disorder, I diamond painted there, and I got around to thinking, like, there's got to be some psychological benefits, right? I mean, there's got to be a reason that we get so entranced, that it's such a popular hobby nowadays. I mean, there's got to be something to it, right? So I did some research because that's what I like doing, and wanted to find out some more about the psychological benefits of repetitive tasks. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the stuff that I learned. So, beginning with generally human psychology, not as it pertains to addiction per se, but just human psychology with regard to repetitive tasks. There is a sense of mastery, obviously, when you engage in repetitive tasks. It allows you to improve your skills over time, your proficiency, leading to a sense of mastery and accomplishment. Okay, so all of that to say that, when we diamond paint and we're doing that same thing over and over again, we get better and better at it. Our lines become straighter. Whether you're doing rounds or squares, your lines are looking better. Got a hair on my multiplacer. The dog's exploding. You just get better and better, right? It's wonderful. You can really see improvement happening over time, and that is a wonderful feeling. The other end is there's a mindfulness that goes, I'm sorry, I had to pick this up because I'm like half placing on the plastic, and that is not working for me, you guys. There is a mindfulness and a flow that happens when you diamond paint. So, you know how you get into a flow, and if somebody comes bugging you, you're like, leave me alone, I'm in the zone, whatever. Because I get in the zone, and I'm like, my family will be asking me questions, and I'm half paying attention, like, Do I hear them? Mostly no. Mostly no, I do not. But I thought that was pretty interesting. Relaxation and, on the topic of mindfulness and flow, you get into that state, that hypnotic state, right? Where you ever been driving along in the car and you realize that you've been driving? Like, you have a sudden realization, holy crap, I'm in charge of this vehicle. What's going on? You're like, how did I get here? I don't remember driving at all. I don't remember the trip. I don't remember getting from point A to point B. Like, yikes. It can be a little scary for sure. Because your brain kind of goes into autopilot in those instances. And it's no different when it comes to diamond painting, right? You get into your flow, You're just going, getting stuff done, and it's pretty awesome, right? And you can lose track of time. You get a sense of like focused concentration. And then there's a satisfaction that comes along with that focused sense of concentration. It's like you've finally got yourself into a spot, right? Even people who suffer from ADHD or autism, things like that, even those people who suffer from autism and ADHD have said that they are able to get themselves into a flow when it comes to diamond painting, especially because they can be diamond painting and listening to a book, or diamond painting and, listening to a WIP and chat, for instance. Whoa, threw my pen. Did you see that? That was great. And so anybody can benefit from a repetitive task. There's also relaxation that comes along with it, and stress reduction. So engaging in a repetitive task, it has a calming effect on the mind. You reduce your stress levels because you're just doing whatever comes natural to you. You're in, like I said, you're in that zone and you're able to just woo-saw, right? It is an absolutely wonderful feeling when you can let go of the day's stresses because you are just doing a rhythmic task, because it's rhythmic. You get into it. You place a diamond, you place a diamond, you place a diamond. And so it definitely promotes relaxation and an almost meditative state. And I love it. There's also, with regard to that relaxation and stress reduction for, like, say, addiction, right? Being able to concentrate on this task and not allow my brain to focus so hard on the fact that I want a cigarette, I want a cigarette, I want a cigarette, or whatever. I'm able to just let go, find a place in my brain and just sit in it. And not sit in the idea that I want to smoke cigarettes, but like, okay, and now I'm placing the A's, and now I'm placing the black, and now I'm placing a pink squiggle or whatever. And then you're looking for it, you're concentrating on what's on the painting and not what's in your mind. And so that relaxation and that stress reduction when it comes to addiction is really important. There's a lot of anxiety that comes along with quitting anything that you've been doing for a long time, whether that's like use of drugs, alcohol, you name it. So definitely a lot of really wonderful psychological benefits for especially addicts when it comes to repetitive tasks. Now, there's also a predictability and control. One thing that I have found, at least just speaking to people that are in the diamond painting community, there is a sense of, that I get anyways, that the people who diamond paint are like me and are kind of control freaks. Are you a control freak? You're a diamond painter. Are you a control freak? Because I bet you are. I'd be willing to put almost cash money on that, right? That you like having control. And that's not unusual. It really isn't. It's totally normal. So, there is a sense of a predictable pattern, a predictable outcome, and it provides people with a sense of certainty that when I do X task, Y will result, or whatever, that you're going to have some sense of certainty in a chaotic world. I know a lot of people like to diamond paint after a really stressful day at work. I did. And it's for that reason. You get into a zone and you're just relaxing. Everything that's happening is predictable. Working in the healthcare field, it was always unpredictable. I never knew what was coming next. I never knew what I was going to have to do next. And so having that sense of just nothing crazy is going to happen. It's going to be me, well, except when I drop my diamonds all over the floor, but that's a whole other thing. I'm good at that. But it's just you can pretty much count on having the same result from laying down a diamond pretty much every time. I think that's why when you buy the cheaper kits and you're futzing with I said futz, F-U-T-Z, you're messing around with the diamonds because the glue's not sticky, or you are having a hard time getting the diamond to lay down because it has some sort of trash element to it. It's not a good diamond. It's frustrating because it's messing your flow up. You can't get into a flow if the diamonds are trashy or whatever. So that's part of why that bothers you. And then not having control over the situation because, it's an unpredictable type of glue or it's an unpredictable type of drill or whatever. So there's also a comfort really in just that predictability in an otherwise chaotic world where we don't have a lot of predictability. There's honestly a lot of addicts and alcoholics, anyone with an addiction, believes in the core of themselves that they have control over the situation. I can stop anytime. I can just drink on Tuesdays and the rest of the week I won't drink, or I don't have to drink all the time, so I'm not an addict or an alcoholic. I don't have to do XYZ all the time. And that idea that somehow, some way, we have control over the situation, no, we don't. No, we never do. And so this diamond painting, it's one thing that you do have control over the result. You can decide when, and I have a hard time deciding when to just stop diamond painting and, go do something else, but I'd rather be sitting and getting lost and mesmerized for hours in diamond painting than I would be using and not know what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's a sense of kind of addiction to a certain extent, but not in the same way. Definitely not in the same way. I can promise you that. Because diamond painting doesn't cause you to, sell your kids' stuff and pawn it for drug money or whatever. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of psychological benefits, especially for addicts, because it does give you a sense of control over something. And then there's creativity and problem solving in repetitive tasks. So, I mean, you would think that we're all doing the same thing, right? We're laying down diamonds onto a canvas that's sticky. We're all getting the same result because at the end of it, we're all sticking diamonds to a canvas. And honestly, that's true. But there are so many different ways I've discovered that people get this task done. So many different ways. Now, I'm not going to lie and tell you that I don't believe that people who single place with tweezers aren't insane people. Probably axe murderers, maybe? Okay, maybe not quite that, but y'all are crazy. If you tweeze, more power to you, man. I couldn't. I don't know if it's the, like, just the slow patience of it. And I think probably that's why you like it. There's a slow, just routine in it. And then there's people who multi-place. There's people who don't multi-place. There's people who will only single place. I only started using a multi-placer at the beginning of this year. I was a strict single placer only. My daughter's like, Mom, why aren't you multi-placing? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, there's a tool you can use where it'll allow you to lay more than one diamond at a time. I'm like, well, I tried it once. I hated it, whatever, da-da-da. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, you'd save a lot of time if blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, I'll give it another shot. And then I realized that part of my issue was in the mastery of it. And I got frustrated and agitated very easily because when I was trying to do it, you guys, I was very early in my recovery. Everything was out of control. I was out of control. The diamonds were out of control. Life was out of control. And I don't think that I had the patience to master that technique. So maybe you're just not ready to master the techniques because you've got stuff going on in your life. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot of just creativity and problem solving. There's just all these factors that go into these repetitive tasks that we don't even consider as part of the process, right? So I challenge you when you are diamond painting next, if you are diamond painting now, be mindful of what you're doing. That's not saying like, I am diamond painting. There, see, I'm mindful of what I'm doing. Look at the colors that you're placing. Pay attention to the colors. What are you hearing? What are you feeling in your body? What are you experiencing in your mind? Are you experiencing relaxation? Are you letting go of stress? Are you meditating through the process? What are you experiencing? Be in the literal here and right now, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are. Be in the right now while you diamond paint. Use that as a tool to get you more relaxed and in the zone when it comes to diamond painting. Now, specifically for individuals that struggle with addiction, repetitive tasks can serve a lot of purposes beyond what I just shared. But it ties into what I just shared too. There's some real science behind it though. And there's science behind what I said. Just, yeah, you get what I mean. So when it comes to addicts or alcoholics and repetitive tasks, there is a distraction, obviously, but that is building for an addict or an alcoholic good coping mechanisms. You realize that you can sit down, you can diamond paint, and let go of whatever today's problems were. Oftentimes, an addict or an alcoholic will use today's problems as a excuse to go and use because, well, I was stressed about the bills. I was, my boyfriend and I had a fight. My day didn't go well. I lost my job. Whatever. Excuse, right? But using diamond painting as a coping mechanism and the repetitive task of diamond painting as a coping mechanism is a much healthier way to deal with your problems by just doing something different. Cognitive behavioral therapists, they don't want to go necessarily after they do want to go after the addiction, but they want to go after the behavior that goes along with drug seeking, right? And so if you can take X behavior, obsessing over drugs or alcohol, and you can turn that into relaxation with diamond painting, then you have given yourself a distraction from cravings or from negative emotions. Just it allows you maybe to temporarily escape the urge to use or engage in those addictive behaviors. Also very important for addicts and alcoholics is a sense of routine and structure. Now I don't know about you, but I tend to have an idea around what I'm going to be doing, right? With regard to diamond painting. There's a specific time of night that it's best for me, or there's, I usually have a plan. Now with the YouTube channel, it's actually been even better for me because I have specific plans. I know I want to release a WIP and chat for Wednesdays. I know I want to release some sort of a tutorial for Tuesdays. I know that I want to do live streams on Thursdays and Saturdays. Like that structure for me is wildly important because then I can keep myself busy. Now that it's not a matter of my being concerned about using, it's my concern about smoking cigarettes. I can use it for the same thing, right? I can do the same thing with it. Giving myself some sort of a structure. I can't tell you how often I was filling just dead air time, so to speak, for my life with smoking cigarettes. I was bored. I'd go smoke a cigarette. I would sit and, dink around on TikTok or Reddit or whatever, smoke a cigarette at the same time, catch up on the day's news, whatever. And there became a routine in smoking. That's why it's so hard for people who are smokers after meal times or after they wake up in the morning, because there's that routine of getting right up, having a cigarette, whatever. So really important for routine and structure, and to have that to avoid triggers, right? Now, the word trigger is a buzzword that got kind of overused for a while there to take away importance from something that is very important. Understanding triggers, understanding what kicks up your anxiety or your post-traumatic stress or whatever. Unfortunately, there are communities that took that word trigger and it became a buzzword, right? Which was unfortunate because it took language of understanding from people who would maybe better understand their addiction or their alcoholism if they were better able to use language to explain what that felt like, right? The other thing is specifically for addicts or alcoholics is this sense of accomplishment. I completed a piece. Even if it was just I completed a section. Sometimes there is a sense of accomplishment just in being able to complete a section because you were able to sit that long and not do whatever the thing was that you shouldn't be engaging in. You were able to distract your brain for just long enough. And if you could do it again and do it again and do it again, then you can be successful. And it shows you can be successful. There's a sense of accomplishment in that. Like, oh my God, I was able to sit for a whole 3 hours or 20 minutes, whatever it is. It's important, that sense of accomplishment. It also, having that sense of accomplishment gives you a sense of self-esteem, which for people who are former or even current addicts or alcoholics, y'all understand very well the sense of guilt and shame that comes from either doing things that you should not have done, embarrassing yourself, or hurting your family members, your friends, what have you. So that sense that you get from finishing and doing, that's important. That's almost as important as the not engaging in drug use or drinking alcohol, is to have something that you can feel proud of yourself for. Because oftentimes addicts and alcoholics will be much less than feeling proud, you know? And then again, the mindfulness and relaxation. Anybody who's, a addiction specialist that wants to help addicts or alcoholics, they always get into the mindfulness of things, being aware of the here and now, being aware of the feelings you feel in your body so that you can understand why you're feeling those feelings and hopefully rewire your brain into understanding that you're not going to die, you're not going to implode, life isn't going to end because you couldn't use or smoke cigarettes or whatever it happens to be. So again, that mindfulness. And then there's a social connection. I can tell you guys without any doubt in my mind that when I decided to get myself together and clean up my act, I got off of all social media, every social media. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. Now I have a Facebook and things now for business, but I have no friends on there. You can go, well, I have one friend on there. Somebody I met from diamond painting, actually. But you'll see there's one friend on my friends list. And it's not using my real name because I'm, not trying to invite people that I shouldn't have had in my life back into it. I don't want them to know I'm back on Facebook because, you'll got to avoid the people, places, and things that caused you to use in the first place. So I don't want them to know I'm back online. But I kind of dropped off the face of the earth. And with that, I lost a large friend base. That was people that I had relationships with from working at various jobs, the Renaissance Fair, family members, friends of the family, friends that are like family, everything. I lost everything because I shut it down. I shut everybody down. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed, and I cut everybody off. And it's only now that I'm in I almost left some behind. It's now that I'm in the diamond painting community that I feel a sense of community, that I've started to make friends, that I've been able to open back up again. And it's strange that my unveiling, I guess, of what I've done or who I am, that I would do that on something as large a platform as YouTube. But I stopped worrying about the guilt and the shame. Honestly, it's our secrets that keep us in our addiction or in our alcoholism or what have you. It's keeping those secrets that keeps the beast in control of you and not the other way around. So if I can take control of the beast and say, you don't own me, you don't run me, I run me, and I'm going to share that with the world, that I'm not the person that I used to be. I'm better. And I can feel proud from that. And I've met some incredible friends along the way, especially in the last few months, you guys. And y'all know who you are, the people that I've been connecting very closely with recently and talking about everything in my life. I've been so grateful, and I'm grateful for you, whoever you are right now listening, because you're listening. For a long time, like I said, you keep those secrets and they keep you weak. And so letting those secrets out and sharing them with even you, a stranger I've never met, it's liberating, it's freeing. So that social connection is massively important. And then in a actual science way, with regard to repetitive tasks for addicts, alcoholics, and or the regular old human being who doesn't have addiction issues, repetitive tasks actually stimulate the dopamine receptors in your brain. They don't make you high. It doesn't make you high, but it does give you an elation that a person would normally get from drinking or drugging, right? And if I can skip that altogether entirely and instead diamond paint, then I'm going the right direction. And so are you. You're getting your feel goods from diamond painting for a lot of different reasons, but that repetitive task, that's the thing that keeps you coming back to diamond painting day in and day out. Okay? So thank you for listening to my little, psychology lesson today. I just thought it was important to talk about because, like I said, it's our secrets that keep us weak. And then I did want to, with a quote, I wanted to address those people who worry about what others think of them. And I have really been repeating this mantra to myself lately, especially with the crap I was going through with imposter syndrome and I also wanted to say thank you again for those people who commented on that video and told me, either A, to get a thick skin because that's 100% true, or B, just that, I'm enough. People need to hear that more, and I appreciate you telling me that I'm enough because for a very long time, I haven't heard that from anyone. So thank you for just helping me get some perspective in where I was emotionally and in my body, in my mind. Like, just thank you. I needed that and I didn't even know I needed it. So God bless you. Whatever you believe in, God bless you, or Allah bless you, or whatever you believe. But just bless you for being a good human because I needed that. I really did. And I'm so grateful for the community that has, come out and been supportive of me and made me feel like I am enough. Because oftentimes in our lives, we can worry so much about what others are thinking about us or feeling about us or saying about us. And I wanted to share a quote to that end. I wanted to share a quote with you. David Foster Wallace said, "You'll worry less what others think of you when you realize how seldom they actually do." Now, that's a really harsh way to put that nobody's thinking about you. But there's a reason that nobody's thinking about you. The same reason that you're not thinking about everyone all at once yourself. People are so wrapped up in their own stuff, their own problems, their own successes, their own failures, that we are not always forefront in their minds. And while that might hurt us to think that, nobody cares, obviously, or they would have checked in, they didn't know to check in. We didn't tell them. I felt like, how could nobody have seen me falling apart? Well, Naomi, you didn't ask for any help. You didn't let them know you needed any help. I can't expect people to be mind readers. And when they've got their own things going on, what are they going to do? So on the one hand, does it mean nobody cares about you? Absolutely not. People care about you. It's just they forgot to think about you because they were so busy thinking about what was going on in their own life. And selfishly or not, that we're all that way. So there's that. And then on the shame and guilt portion of it, you got to remember that, as much as you think people are talking about you poorly or, telling your story and you're not telling it or whatever, remember that as much as you might think that they're talking about you, they probably aren't. Not because they don't care, but because they ultimately they care about what's going on in their life a little more, and they should. Again, if we don't ask them for help, they can't know to help us. So stop worrying about what other people are thinking about you. Stop being ashamed. Go say your sorries. Go ask for forgiveness. Go and reach out to people because they didn't know you needed the help. Okay? And it can feel a lot like people don't care, like they don't care. But I want you to know that no matter who you are and no matter where you are, if you reached out to me, even as a stranger, a complete stranger, I care. I do. I care. Probably too much sometimes for my own good. But you're not alone. You're not alone in this. You're not alone in the fight. You're not alone in the struggle. You're not alone in the weeds. Just you gotta ask somebody though, because psychics get paid a lot of money to be psychic, or maybe they're really psychic. I don't know, but not everybody is that. So ask for help, reach out. Somebody will be willing to help you. You just have to ask. So I saved the biggest news for the end of this video. And yes, I did already post about this, but I don't know how often people look at the community posts or whatever. So I thought I'm also going to say it in a whipping chat because I am stankin' excited. I'm so beside myself, you guys. A Diamond Art Club representative reached out to me on Easter Sunday and asked me if I would be interested in being a part of their sneak peek programs for Diamond Art Club. Well, my first response was to wet my pants, fully soaked. Not really, but, was to freak out because I did do that for sure. My kid's like, everything okay, Mom? I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I will, beginning monthly, for now, I will be doing monthly sneak peeks for Diamond Art Club. And then as the channel grows, I'll pick up more often. So that said, a call to action. So I saw that right now, as of the recording of this video, I am at, I believe, 92 subscribers. We are so close to 100, guys. I am so excited. I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked. I'm shocked every day. Every single day I look at that number tick up. I'm like, this is nuts. This can't be real. This cannot be real. But I'm almost at 100 subscribers now. That is super freaking exciting. And so at the time of the recording of this video, I am currently at, 91. I was at 92. Somebody must have dropped off. It's okay. It happens. 91 subscribers. And I'd really, 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 really like to get that number up. So if there's somebody, a diamond painter specifically, not just your mom's, hairdresser or something, if there's somebody that you think that could benefit from either learning how to diamond paint, because I'll be putting out tutorials, or to utilize diamond painting for an addiction, or if you think somebody would enjoy diamond painting, or you yourself enjoy and you haven't subscribed yet, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, that is massively helpful to the channel. And I thank you incredibly for doing so. You don't have to hit the notification bell, but if you'd like to know when I'm making videos, definitely hit that notification bell. It will tell you when I've posted little blips about going live. It will tell you when I've uploaded a new video, all sorts of good information there. And then the channel can grow and we can grow as a community together. Now, we can be a community of diamond painters. We can be a community of recovering addict diamond painter. We could be whatever we want to be. We can be whatever we want to be, you guys, but I want you to build it with me. Let's build it together, because I think that, one, I can use the platform to reach out to people who maybe I can help them, right? Maybe something I say will strike enough of a nerve that they seek the help that they need, or whatever it happens to be. But if there's somebody that you know that would enjoy my channel, send them on over. Don't tell them they have to subscribe. Let them make that decision for themselves, but maybe they'd like it. Who knows? But share my videos if you think that they're insightful, or you think that they're funny, or you get something out of them. If you've subscribed, then you must be getting something out of the channel, I would hope. Oh my gosh. If not, let me know what I can do differently, excuse me, because I'm happy to try new things. But that was my big news. I'm going to start doing sneak peeks for Diamond Art Club, and I'm so freaking excited I can barely stand myself. When the email showed up, it was like, oh my gosh, and I'll be standing among greats, because there's a lot of the YouTubers, and maybe even a few of you subscribe to my channel, that I've been watching from the sidelines and not saying much because, I feel inferior. But just Goliaths in our community that you've been kind enough to support me with a subscribe, and I thank you for that too. And hopefully I say something that's interesting enough that you'll want to listen to. But all that said, boop that like button if you enjoyed what you have watched today. Tell a friend to come and check out the channel. Then I don't have to try and get sponsorship or something. I don't know. That said though, I am an affiliate at Art Dot. And if you would like to save 10% on your Art Dot purchase, you can put NAO 10, like N as in Nancy, because my name is Naomi, AO, and the number's 10. When you place your order, you can use that as the discount code, and you'll save 10% on your whole order at Art Dot. They do a lot of cool stuff. They've got some licensed diamond paintings. They've got storage. They've got storage that I use. So go over and check out artdot.com and, get yourself a discount. Otherwise, it helps. Every little bit helps, right? I don't want to start Patreon begging. That just sounds terrible. I mean, I'll do what I have to do if I don't get this job. But that said, thanks again for sticking through all the way to the end. If you made it all the way to the end, why don't you put a green heart in the comments so I know you made it all the way to the end with me. And then I will be coming up with some other plans. I have a giveaway that I want to do. I have a diamond paint along I want to plan, like a month event. I'm just going to have to go and contact some sponsors for it. I got plans, you guys. I got some fun plans for the channel, and I hope you'll be along for the ride. But all that said, thanks for sticking around. I hope that it is a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in this great, big, beautiful world. Thank you for joining me so, so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.